Hey guys, welcome to Batea's Entertainment World. I'm Batea and you are now watching my top 10 80s Jackie Chan films of all time. At number 10 we are starting off with Heart of the Dragon, also known as Heart of Dragon, starring Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung, directed by Sammo Hung. This film I had a bit of trouble with deciding if it should be here at number 10 or either Dragon Lord, and ultimately I decided that Dragon Lord shouldn't be here, it should just be Heart of the Dragon. I was going to put both at number 10, but no. This film had more elements to it that stood out to me more than Dragon Lord did, and the story is a very different story. Jackie Chan is a cop who has a special needs brother, older brother, which is played by Sammo Hung, and he's sort of his caregiver. And he gets kidnapped towards the end of the film, and he has to save him. And it's a very dramatic film as well. I love seeing that kind of side to Jackie, and it was showing a lot of sides to him that I never really saw, and of course till later in his later films. But this film stood out to me because of that, and the action scenes as well is just as amazing. The fight scenes are all amazing. I love when Jackie Chan is under Sammo's direction, because Sammo takes Jackie's action to another level every time they do fight scenes together, and it worked so well. And I believe this is why it's at number 10. Maybe higher next time. It always changes. At number 9 we have Project A Part 2. This film I very, very much enjoy. The story is sort of connects to the first one. Some of the pirates that survive, they try to take revenge for their leader, and of course Jackie Chan conquered on Project A Part 1 with Sammo Hung and Yuen Biao. I would have loved to see them on the second one, but it is what it is. But I love how they try to get Jackie every time, and then once they finally get Jackie, they spare him and they let him go. So there's that part of the story, and there's also Jackie Chan's character who teams up with another police detective who is actually the bad guy, and so there's that. I love the stunts in this film. I like how the action is very, very similar to Project A, but it's not. I like how inventive that Jackie Chan is in the later 80s, in the late 80s compared to the early 80s. I like how it's like how similar it is to, for me it's very similar to Police Story 2 for some reason. I don't know why, but it just is. So at number 9, Project A Part 2. At number 8 we have The Canton Godfather, also known as Miracles. This film is highly acclaimed, one of the best films that Jackie did this whole decade. But it is at number 8 because there are so many great films that Jackie did that I couldn't decide to put towards doing it in order to number 1. And this film is such an amazing film. It's so different to what Jackie did before that, and I believe this movie got an award. I think it's best choreography, and this film very much combines romance and physical comedy, action, and I love the way that Jackie directed this film. Um, it just shows that someone like him, you know, his vision. It just shows when he's at his best. And yeah, I love this story. How you know, he comes from humble beginnings, and then he becomes the owner of a casino. And it just shows that a movie like this is just amazing, what one man can do. And yeah, it's Canton Godfather. At number 7, we have The Young Master from 1980. This film, I couldn't put any higher than 7, for the same reasons as the other movies. It's a hard list, but this movie is a movie I've always enjoyed watching, and I've always loved, especially now that I have the 88 films release. It's such a good release. The deluxe edition, everyone has to get it. Yeah, this film is very much what opened Jackie Chan to the Golden Harvest era. There would be no Golden Harvest era without Jackie Chan starting this movie, The Young Master. And yeah, I love the story of this film. Classic Jackie Chan film. Definitely a must-have. And it's at number 7. My list will change over time, probably. But yeah, I love the casting of this film. Great cast. And the fighting on this film. The last scene is very, to me, is very revolutionary. And Jackie explains it. You know, pretty much the first half is very traditional kung fu fighting, kung fu martial arts fighting, and then the last fight is almost like a street fight, in a comedic way. And yeah, this film is definitely at the top of one of my favorite Jackie Chan movies ever. And yeah, it's at number 7. At number 6, we have The Armor of God from 1986, directed by Jackie Chan, filmed in multiple locations, Yugoslavia, Spain, I'm not too sure where else. I think a lot of the fighting scenes were filmed back in Hong Kong. But yeah, this film is one of my all-time favorite action films. Not just Jackie films, but action films. This film has always been in circulation in my life, and I've always this is the movie that I would watch if I feel like watching a Jackie Chan film. Yeah, this film is it's a good story. I like the Indiana Jones type of style to this. It's such a great fit for Jackie Chan, and I believe this is one of the first films that Jackie did, where he takes adventures to different countries, and I think this movie led to that, like Mr. Nice Guys in Australia, or and First Strike, or did movies like that, and I think this is where it led to. I mean, besides Wheels on Meals, but yeah, directed by Jackie Chan. Yeah, but I love the story. The Asian Hawk has to save Laura and try to get the armor of God, as he took it from the beginning of the film. And yeah, this film is one of the films that Jackie almost lost his life to. So it's this movie is sort of like a landmark for Jackie. So yeah, I had to get this film on Blu-ray, and it's one of my all-time favorite films, action films. So yeah, make sure you watch it. Number 6 on my list. At number 5 we have Police Story 2 from 1988. This film is, I'd say, is equal to Police Story 1, personally, because I watched this Police Story. I watched this movie before the first one, and based off Police Story 2, I would say it's a very solid sequel to the first one. And yeah, I personally love this film for what it is, and yeah, this is sort of based on Police Story 1 as well. The villain for Police Story 1 is still alive and well. He gets to live for a couple months, and but besides that, there are a couple young guys who kidnap May, Jackie's girlfriend, in exchange for a couple $1 million, Hong Kong dollars, and Jackie has to save her, of course. So that's the main plot of the story, and yeah, I've always had this movie playing, as well as the other few Jackie films like Arm of God. I've always had it playing in my house, and yeah. And number 5, Police Story 2. Number 4, we have Project A from 1983. This film is directed by Jackie Chan, starring Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, and Yoon Byung. The first of a couple films that the trio did together. This film is a classic, and this film is one of the reasons why Jackie Chan started doing death-defying stunts in his movies. And I believe this is where his trademark of doing all those things in his movies after this film. This is the movie that started it all. Yeah, this is where Jackie felt like he was at his comfortable. He looked ready for the international market on this film, and I believe that if we did get the recognition, and if he did star in the film that what he was meant to in America, the right script, the right everything, right director, he would have been a huge star in the 80s in America. But yeah, this film is a classic. I know I keep saying classic, but it just is. And I love the chemistry that him and Sammo Hung have in this movie. I like how they always fight, and yeah, the fight scenes are crazy on here. And the pirates, it's such a cool film. The vibe is awesome, and yeah, I do watch it every now and then, not as much as I often would other films, but yeah, for me, it's one of the most important Jackie Chan films of the 80s. So number 4, Project A. Number 4, Number 3, we have Dragons Forever from 1988. This film wasn't supposed to be number 3. It's supposed to be a bit lower, but I felt like it was at number 3 for a reason. And this film has always been a favorite of mine and my brother's. We always watch it whenever we feel like watching a Jackie film together. Yeah, this film has one of the greatest, fight scenes ever filmed. It was the last of the trio. This film was the last they did together, and yeah, I don't have too much to say about this film because I've already expressed how I feel about this film and how much I love this film. But it's at number 3 for that reason. And yeah, it's Dragons Forever, number 3. Number 3, we at number 2 we have Wheels on Wheels from 1984, directed by Sammo Hung, starring Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, and Yuen Bu. This film is at number 2 for many reasons. One reason being is location. The location in this film really sets out the whole entire vibe of this film throughout the whole film. I love how it's in Spain. It really changes the whole environment, the surroundings, the people that they interact with. I love this film because of that reason, as well as a couple other reasons. But yeah, I think the location is a very important element to this film, and yeah, that's one reason is the location. Second reason is because probably the main reason why I chose this one to be number 2 is because it's one of the greatest fighting scenes ever filmed. Not just martial arts, but ever filmed ever. One of the greatest fight scenes, and that's between Jackie Chan and Benny the Jet. Yeah, this every time I watch that fight, it's like I'm watching art. Just when you look at art museums, it's like that's like watching. That's what I feel like when I'm watching this fight scene, and it's just it's perfection throughout the whole fighting scene. The choreography is just spot on, and a lot of the camera angles that they use for that fight scene is just makes it look beautiful. And I think that's a lot of the fight scenes throughout this whole film, which brings me to another reason, which I've already mentioned. Sammo Hung's directing really brings out the beauty in Jackie's fighting, so that's one reason. Also, the chemistry between Jackie, Sammo, and Yuen Bu. Yeah, it's probably the best chemistry shown is on Wheels on Wheels. It's like they're all brothers, and yeah, I just love it. I love this film, and yeah, that's why it's at number 2, being the second best Jackie Chan film in during the 80s. Yeah. At number 1, we have The One and Only Police Story from 1985, directed by Jackie Chan, starring Jackie Chan. What can I say about this film? This film is the greatest Jackie Chan film of his whole entire career. It's the pinnacle of his career. It's everything you want to see in a Jackie Chan film. I've mentioned this in my DVD collection, but yeah, this film really brings out everything that Jackie Chan is, and it has cemented Jackie Chan. It cemented his name being one of the greatest action stars of all time. The stunts in this film are just mind-blowing. The story is a good story, but the action is the main attraction for this film, and it's a classic. I love watching it from top to bottom each time, Chinese or English dub. I can watch it either way. This film definitely has one of the greatest fight scenes throughout the whole film. Every fight scene that Jackie has is so impactful, and yeah, it just shows how really amazing Jackie Chan was in his prime. This was definitely prime Jackie Chan, and he was just striving to be the best that he could be with this film, and especially coming off of The Protector, he knew that he could make a better cop film, better than The Protector. But yeah, this film, he was filming this. I believe he was filming Police Story during the day, and Heart of the Dragon during nighttime. So or was it the other way around? But yeah, this film is definitely top tier Jackie Chan material. If you haven't seen this, I'm sure all of you have seen this film that are watching this right now, but if you have not seen it, you have to watch it. Otherwise, yeah, this film is at number one for every reason. And Eureka will be releasing this on Ultra HD for Blu-ray 4K, and I will be getting it. All three of them. The whole trilogy will be released on 4K, so I'll be sure that I'll be definitely getting that for sure. But yeah, at number one is Police Story, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this list. It will probably change throughout whenever, but yeah, this is my list for now, and I'm sure it will definitely change. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this list. Make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you want to see any videos that you might want to see from me. Let me know. Otherwise, yeah, that is my top 10 Jackie Chan films of the 80s. So yeah, hope you guys have an awesome day, and yeah, thank you.